We are Stuart and Rainey of the GloveTrotters, active senior travelers chasing adventure one trip at a time. During our time in Athens, Greece, we booked a day tour to Meteora through Viewpoint, and it turned out to be one of the highlights of our trip. We met our group at a convenient location, just a short taxi ride from our hotel. From there, we boarded a comfortable bus that took us to the town of Kalambaka, where we transferred to smaller vans to begin our scenic drive up to Meteora. We loved that everything was taken care of, from transportation to and from Athens to a fully guided tour through the stunning monasteries and landscapes of Meteora. It made the entire experience seamless and memorable. Welcome to Meteora, Greece, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that means suspended in the air. Once you've seen it, you'll understand why. Rising up from the Thessalian Plain, towering pillars of sandstone push upwards more than 650 feet, adorned by several Eastern Orthodox monasteries. Perched atop these cliffs since the 14th century, these architectural wonders are a must-visit for world travelers. 220 miles north of Athens, the road rises from the Peneus River Valley to the rocky hilllands surrounding Kalambaka. As you drive across the Thessalian Plains, the landscape transforms dramatically. These massive, smooth rock pillars seem to defy gravity. Meteora is named after the Greek word meteoro, which means suspended or lofty, an appropriate name for structures that look as if they belong in another world. The village of Kalambaka lies at the foot of Meteora and is built on the lowest elevation of the region of Thessaly. The town was developed around a Byzantine fortification and an ancient cathedral that still stands today. Its white homes and terracotta roofs contrast the monasteries above and provide a secure base from which to explore. You could spend the night here or in nearby Pyxari, or just enjoy a day trip like we did. The Great Meteoron is the oldest and largest of Meteora's monasteries. It is located on Plathelithos Rock, the largest of the region's pinnacles, rising 1,350 feet above the floor of the valley. It was an influential monastery in the history of the Meteora region, and at its height during the 16th century, an estimated 300 monks were in residence. Visitors have to come in modest dress. No sleeveless shirts or shorts above the knee. Nikolaos Anapafsas Monastery dates back to the end of the 14th century. It's perched atop a slender rock pillar 262 feet above the road of Pyxari. The smallest of the active Meteora monasteries, its rooms and chapels are creatively stacked one upon the other. The climb is relatively short, making it an easy and rewarding stop for casual hikers who are rewarded with beautiful views of the surrounding rocks and valley. Across the chasm lies Varlaam Monastery, the most accessible of Meteora's monasteries. Originally just a small chapel created by the hermit Varlaam in the 14th century, the site began its expansion toward its current form in 1517. The monastery clings to a sheer rock face reached by 195 steps that overlook the Roussanou pillar and a modern footbridge. There is even a cable car that the monks use to transport their goods to and from the main road to the monastery. Inside is the primary chapel, adorned by brightly colored paintings laced in gold leaf, and a museum displaying religious relics and beautiful frescoes. It's less tourist-heavy than Great Meteoron, but still active. This is a monks-only monastery, and visitors must follow the same dress code. From the terraces, you have a panoramic view of the valley, the graceful Adracti rock spire rising over 1,500 feet above the plain, and in the distance, the amazing Pindus Mountains. High above and to the west, you can see the Great Meteoron, and to the east is the Roussanou Monastery and the Monastery of the Holy Trinity. Even with the crowds, the atmosphere here is genuinely serene, with courtyards and frescoes that will take your breath away. Across the valley from Varlaam, on a separate pillar 200 feet high, is Roussanou Monastery, which is dedicated to St. Barbara and currently only inhabited by nuns. The view from the Varlaam steps, looking down upon Roussanou, is perhaps the most iconic in all Meteora. The monastery itself, built in the 14th century, was reconstructed in the mid-1500s. It consists of 3 floors and is one of the simplest monasteries to visit, accessible via a small bridge from the roadway. Roussanou's spot offers expansive vistas of Kalambaka and the surrounding rock formations, and because access is simple and space is limited, the visit doesn't feel stressed or crowded. Standing a bit off the plateau on a relatively high pinnacle is the Monastery of the Holy Trinity, built in the late 15th century. Hollywood fans may know it from the 1981 James Bond film, For Your Eyes Only. Getting to the top of the mountain where it's located, while still challenging, used to require literally pulling up visitors with ropes. Today you must navigate a crisscross route complete with a small bridge, followed by approximately 140 steps carved directly into the rock face to reach this dramatic spot. Today, Holy Trinity remains an active monastery run by monks. On the other side of the valley sits the Holy Monastery of St. Stephen, or as the locals call it, Ios Stephanos. It's located at the end of the road near Kalambaka and is connected to the mainland by a short, level footbridge. There are no steps to climb here, making it the perfect choice for anyone with mobility concerns. St. Stephen's was occupied by monks as recently as 1961 and has the fewest steps to climb of all the monasteries in Meteora. Its main church was constructed in 1798, and the compound has museums that exhibit local crafts, including incense making and needlework. You can explore the interior of the compound, including a few beautiful gardens immaculately maintained by the nuns that live on the grounds. As magnificent as the monastery is, its main appeal are the views from the rock chasm below the front gate to the sunset viewpoint just to the northwest. To the west, you have a clear view of the plains of Thessaly stretching out toward Kalambaka. But the real treat is standing on the back terrace looking at the Andrakhti Rock and the Kalambaka Valley below. We were lucky enough to experience a few paragliders showing off in the evening sun. Perched on Pyxari Rock, some 460 feet above the valley floor, are all that remains of the Monastery of St. Anthony. It's an example of architectural ingenuity, as it was built directly into the rugged terrain of a rocky cliff. While the monastery is no longer religiously active, it can be accessed by a short paved path from the main road, making it easier to get to than most of the other hermit caves. The interior of the monastery features religious iconography and magnificent frescoes, some dating back as far as the 14th century. If you choose, you can get great views from easy-to-access walking paths located just below the base of the Pyxari Rock. St. Anthony's remains an ideal example of architecture blending naturally with its surrounding habitat. Just to the north of the ruins of St. Anthony is the remarkable St. Nicholas of Mpantovas Monastery. This small cave hermitage dates back to at least 1400. The remains of the monastery are visible on the east side of Mpantovas Rock. It was bombed out in 1943 by a German Luftwaffe war air raid. Today, surrounded by cave openings, only the walls of shells and the cells are left. The vantage point over the valley is suitably dramatic with the solitude of the clifftop and layers of the beautiful Mpantovas Rock. While you cannot explore the inside of the remains, the access trail and viewpoint make this a worthy short side trip on the main Meteora loop. It's a quiet counterpoint to the more active, bustling monasteries, a gentle reminder of Meteora's roots in cave hermit life. On the west side of Pyxari Rock, you can still make out the remains of the Hermitage of St. Gregory, named after a 4th century theologian named St. Gregory. The Hermitage was established by monks named Theodosius and a different Gregory, who was also the spiritual guide to St. Athanasios, who would go on to found the great Meteoron Monastery. As an interesting side note, the area is not affected by rain, so parts of the original wooden terraces and ladders have survived throughout the centuries. Though not officially named, the Meteora main observation deck provides the most stunning and comprehensive views in all of Meteora. This place is not a monastery. Instead, it's an exposed outcropping built into a rock face, which happens to have one of the most iconic views of the Meteora pinnacles, valleys, and villages below. To the right are the great Meteoron, Varlaam, St. Nicholas Anapafsas, and Roussanou Monasteries, followed by the iconic Andrakhti spire, soaring like a needle on the valley floor. In the center are the so-called alpha, beta, and gamma rocks, and to the left is the Holy Trinity Monastery framed by the Pyxari Viewpoint. The observation deck is accessible by foot or by car, but be aware that parking is very limited as it also accommodates tourist vans. There is no time limit when enjoying the observation deck, so you can feel free to relax and appreciate the vertical geometry of the sandstone cliffs, the view down on the villages of Kalambaka and Pyxari. Then turn slowly to survey the layered mountains. Also, take a moment to marvel at the architectural genius of the monks who built these magnificent structures so many centuries ago. The view is truly like a painting come to life, a place where nature, architecture, and tranquility meet to create a perfect visual palette. The best way to end your day in Meteora is a stop at the Meteora Sunset Viewpoint. You may hear it called by the locals by its more common name, Sunset Rock. Perched on a flat ledge above the valley, you can witness sunsets as they bathe the rock spires and monasteries across the valley in golden colors. The rocks of Dupiani, Pyxari, and Modi illuminate in the last light of the evening. The monasteries Roussanou, Varlaam, Great Meteoron are silhouetted as the sun descends below the Pindus Ranges. It can get really crowded, so make sure you arrive at least 30 minutes before sunset to secure your place. Hikers and day trippers alike flock here to watch the show. You can stay along the road, or if feeling adventurous, navigate your way to the edge of the rocks to get the purest experience. Don't forget sturdy shoes. A few boulders and uneven patches are on the smooth ledge and demand attention. But when you finally get there, the scene is unforgettably quiet. A muted hush as the sun sets behind Meteora's ageless rock pinnacles. It's hard to imagine a more serene way to complete your day in Meteora. Thanks for coming along with us on our Meteora journey. From towering pinnacles to religious sanctuaries, it's a union of natural wonder and centuries of faithful devotion. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and go to our blog for more deep dive travel tips. We'd love to hear all about your Meteora memories or answer any questions you might have. We're the GloveTrotters, and we hope you enjoyed exploring Meteora with us. For more travel guides and adventures, visit us at theglovetrotters.com. And if you love this video, make sure to subscribe and explore with us. We can't wait to see you on our next adventure.